Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we've got for you a good old-fashioned count-out, given that AJ Lee just returned in spectacular fashion to the WWE, Larson. We thought we'd take a look at people who will never return to the WWE. There's not a whole lot. I mean, I think there's like probably quite a few that, you know, yeah, they'd come back. Like Paige, for example. If WWE asked, Paige would come back. And I'm sure if WWE asked a bunch of people on our list, you know, some of them definitely would.
Yeah, there's a few that definitely would.
It's sort of a mix of like, WWE ain't going to ask. And if they did, some of these people wouldn't want to go. So it's a little mix here.
It is, and I think some of the entries here, especially the ones we're going to start with, in some respects perhaps more likely to return. I think a lot of it depends on their relationship with Triple H too. If they have a good relationship with Triple H, maybe they'd be more inclined. If they don't have much relationship with Triple H or don't have a good one, obviously far less inclined to potentially make a return.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are 10 people who definitely will not. By the way, we did a video like this. It was 5 people who won't return. Like age
Many
like
years
in
ago.
2017 or something like that.
Yes.
And like most of them did return.
Yeah, that's the nature of pro wrestling.
It was like the Hardys and like Goldberg. I think a couple of them ended up a couple of them did come back, but a couple of them didn't. So I don't know. It was just kind of funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this. Number 10. Jon Moxley.
I think Jon Moxley here, perhaps more than anybody else on this list, is very dependent on his relationship with Triple H. He just signed a new deal with AEW not that long ago. So he's going to be with the company for a while. He seems very invested in what AEW is doing, and I think he really enjoys the creative freedom that comes with working with AEW. Not to say that he wouldn't potentially go back to WWE, to do one last kind of thing there. Maybe, again, if he has a good relationship with Triple H. Maybe he would come back to accept the Hall of Fame induction. But I would think, I don't know, based on how he's talked about his experience there, based on how he's talked about what AEW means to him, I wouldn't be shocked, but I'd be kind of surprised if he went back.
I'd be borderline surprised, shocked. I'd be almost shocked. Because everything you just said is almost kind of... Everything you said is right, but I feel like everything you said can be sort of magnified with him. You know what I mean? Like, he's already said money doesn't matter to him. And WWE, under TKO, seems to have gotten further and further away from what Jon Moxley appreciates about pro wrestling.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I think he likes being in those, to this day, I think he enjoys being in those smaller venues. He was on Collision. He's a guy who's got enough stroke not to be on the 250,000 viewed episode of Dynamite. He could be a part-time Dynamite only guy or a pay-per-view only guy, but he wrestled Daniel Garcia on a Collision because he likes doing that.
Well, I think also maybe he appreciates the fact that maybe him being on Collision might get some more eyeballs on Collision too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He seems like a guy who wants to help build AEW. I mean, he's always come off that way. How many times have we heard, Moxley's he's supposed to go on vacation? Well, CM Punk got injured and he's throwing a fit. Let's bring in Jon Moxley. No fishing for you, Jon Moxley.
Nope, no fishing expedition for you, Jon.
He did go on a vacation before the Death Rider stuff. He was gone for a little while. And then he came back and they did the Death Rider stuff. But yeah, I would actually be almost shocked. I'd definitely be surprised, but almost shocked if he came back to WWE because it's so corporate right now.
Yeah, I know.
And he's always kind of had, like you said, an interesting relationship with Triple H, where he finds, at least like from the few things that I've read or heard about from his book, like Triple H a little bit on the condescending. Did you guys know what a paradigm shift is?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I found this quote. This is back from 2019. And this is from, I believe, the Flip the Strip radio show. The transcripts are from Fightful. It said, along with the Talk is Jericho podcast, he joined the Flip the Strip radio show, Talk with Wade Keller, and recently spoke with Andrew. So this was when he was doing a whole, this was 2019.
Yeah.
He was going through the whole thing, right?
Yeah, he just left, yeah.
Yeah. This might be from the 25 years later site. I don't know what it is. In any event, it's one of those that I just said. He said this, because they bring up Triple H taking Instagram selfies with new talent every week. He says, I thought it was a bad idea when Hunter started buying the indies. You had Seth and me along with Joey Mercury, and we were able to sneak in a few key guys like Luke Harper, Neville, and Cesaro. Once I was on the main roster and NXT started, which I wasn't a part of every week Triple H was taking an Instagram selfie with some indie guy. I don't know if he was trying to make himself look cool and get some indie cred or what, make NXT look cool. He basically started buying the indies. I remember thinking it might not be a good idea. Then where are all these good ideas going to come from? If they signed Daniel Bryan at 21, he never would have become Bryan Danielson, and you never would have had WrestleMania 30. If they signed Punk before he really became CM Punk, he never would have done what he did. If they signed me at 21, I never would have become anything good. I had to develop first before being brought in. There's a lot more here, but WWE right now is doing exactly what he's saying they shouldn't be doing. They're buying AAA. They got this partnership with TNA, which might lead to them buying TNA. It certainly gives them the option. And so it seems like under TKO, WWE and the direction Triple H and Nick Khan want to take seem to be further and further away from where they were under Vince, which under Vince, it was kind of just like, okay, well, creatively, we're not really on the same page, but he still had a lot of success there.
Yeah.
And he built up that his status to go to AEW and do whatever he wants for WWE money. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if they're paying him what WWE would if he tried to go there now. They might multiply it. I don't know. But he makes really good money doing what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe, I don't know. I don't know the guy. I've heard a lot of really good things about him as like a person.
Same.
I wonder if he'd feel a little icky.
Oh, that's entirely possible. That's entirely
he comes
possible.
off like that.
Yeah, he does. He comes off as someone who is more often than not stand by his principles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if he sees WWE as this giant corporate monolith that's out to destroy the greater wrestling industry just for its own benefit, which kind of seems like his case, and wants nothing to do with it, then he'll probably have nothing to do with it.
I do wonder if their counter-programming strategy right now might give the ick to certain high-profile people who otherwise would have been like, hey, fair game, Swerve, Ospreay.
Well, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit, another entry, because another entry later on just talked about that, Steve.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and dive in then to number 9.
9.
Toni Storm.
Of course, she left in, was it 2021?
Something like that, yeah.
And she's talked about what led to her departure pretty extensively. In fact, just recently, when was this? This is earlier. This was September 10th, so this was today. There's a quote here she was on MVP's podcast.
Yeah, I was about to mention that one.
And then, talked about her creative direction at WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what she had to say. This is from Newsweek, these quotes. She says, in the WWE, I don't think I was told what to do enough. I wasn't told to do anything, actually. In regards to a character, no, I was never like, they would write me promos, but I kind of just did it.
Mm-hmm.
She says, no one had told me anything, and I kept my name the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like there was no direction in terms of who her character was, which played out on TV because her character was Motley Crue fan.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And then she spoke. This was back in, I think she was on Talk is Jericho after she left when she requested her release, and just talking about getting the runaround in terms of when to show up for shows. I guess it was around Christmas time, She was booked for like a 5-show loop. Then they said, no, you only have to come to Tampa, the first one. And then like the next day, it was supposed to be in Orlando. No, we need you today.
Yeah.
And then it happened again later where she says she was at the dentist and got a phone call. You can get a plane in 2 hours to come to D.C.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it got to the point where she didn't feel like her time and her effort was being respected, and just said, that's it, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I want out.
Yeah. You know, Toni is the one. Toni, I would be mildly surprised if she ended up back in WWE, but not that surprised. Toni, I think, probably could still happen because everything you just mentioned would be fixed. Like, she has a character. She has a very well-defined character that if they decided, hey, if she decided, I've done everything in AEW, I appreciate this place because it gave me the ability to do Timeless Toni Storm, but got that thing in me where I know I can succeed because I was in WWE before and I know what happened there, and now things are different. I'm a well-defined character, and as we saw with Cody, if you have a well-defined thing that would work in WWE, then that's easy. You just bring him on over, and you get certain contractual assurances about, well, they're not going to forget me now. I'm not going to be at the dentist and they're going to be calling me at the last minute now because I'm kind of a big deal. I could see her maybe as a maybe, but given everything AEW did do for her and the stage they give her, you know, again, if you're treated that well, why would you rock the boat, you know?
Yeah, because again, I'm sure it's a situation where she's making, if not WWE money, near WWE money in AEW. She's one of the top stars AEW has. Whenever her contract is up, you would hope Tony Khan would offer her an insane number to stay because she deserves it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're right. I think you know, again, assuming she has any sort of relationship, positive relationship with Triple H. You'd think some of the administrative things about when you're going to be at shows would, by this point, be worked out. You'd think.
Right.
You'd hope so.
Yeah.
And yeah, she'd walk in with a more well-defined, with a totally well-defined character that you would hope if she were to return to WWE, Triple H would be like, "You got your thing, do that."
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
We're going to stay out of the way because it's been successful for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and just go do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being.
Yeah, I wouldn't be completely shocked. No.
Yeah, already going against our own list here, man.
Well, you know, I guess the ones the ones that we talk about first are probably more likely.
Right. Yeah. This is a whole. It's like a whole scale.
Yeah. It's ordered. It's an order.
It's
here.
a whole scale. Exactly.
Whereas like 1 through 5, basically no chance.
Let me take a look at these. Oh my God. Yeah. Not a chance. Yeah. I'd say actually 1 through 7. Probably locked down with a hard no.
Well, I think number 6 on one condition, they might return.
Okay, all right. Let me ask you this, going back to 10 really quick to Moxley.
Sure. Yeah.
He does seem to still have some reverence for the Shield guys. I think we'd see him in a Hall of Fame thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'd see him come back, oh, me and Seth have unfinished business in terms of stories and matches. I don't think that would be the thing. But
no.
like, hey, come do a Hall of Fame appearance because it would mean a lot to Seth. I think I could see that, but like, you know, we're talking about coming back for a run. I don't see it with Mox. I don't see
that either.
Anyways, Toni, maybe not. I don't know. All right. Well, in a couple, we're going to have some firm no's, Larson. But first, we do have some sponsors this week. So let's go ahead and talk about them.
Let's do it. This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, Steve, we can turn to some unexpected places for advice, whether it's your local barista or hairdresser. We've all probably turned to people in our communities to talk about what's on our minds.
That's true, Larson. And as productive as those conversations can be when you're looking for help with your relationships, anxiety, depression, or other clinical issues, they may not provide the right answers. Instead, get some guidance from a credentialed therapist online with BetterHelp.
About 20 years ago, I had to go to therapy to get treatment for severe anxiety, and back then, looking for the right therapist could be a frustrating and time-consuming process. But BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. All you have to do to get started is fill out a short questionnaire to identify your needs and preferences. And BetterHelp's 10-plus years of experience and industry-leading batch fulfillment rate means they typically get it right the first time. But if you aren't happy with your initial match, you can switch therapists at any time at no extra cost.
Plus, BetterHelp is completely online. You can join a session with a therapist at the click of a button so you can fit therapy into your busy schedule. And you can pause your subscription whenever you need to.
As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/raw. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw. And this episode is sponsored by Tempo. The kids are back at school, and that means our schedules just got a whole lot busier. Which also means less time for us to plan nutritious meals for ourselves and our families.
That's right, man. And instead of turning to fast food, turn to Tempo. Tempo serves up fast, feel-good, single-serving meals, which takes all the guesswork out of eating well and are crafted to cook in just 3 minutes, so you can fuel yourself without sacrificing your health or your valuable free time.
Tempo also offers up over 20 meal options each week, like braised wine beef and Sunday sauce meatballs that are made with real, nutrient-rich ingredients, so it's easy to keep up with your healthy lifestyle. As someone who wants, no, I need to hit my protein goals every day. Tempo is a great option because they offer a range of meals for different dietary preferences, including fiber-rich, carb-conscious, and oh yeah, protein-packed options.
And for a limited time, Tempo is offering our listeners 60% off your first box. Go to tempomeals.com/raw. That's tempomeals.com/raw for 60% off your first box. tempomeals.com/raw. Rules and restrictions may apply.
And this episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by Brooklyn Bedding. Steve,
Yes.
how many times have I talked to you about feeling tired, lethargic, unmotivated, unenergetic, and just generally short on quality sleep?
I'll be honest with you, man. I hate to break it to you, but it's like every day now.
Yeah, it's not news, today included. But here's the thing. As I've gotten older, the more I've learned to value and appreciate a good night's rest. Yet, with each passing year, it seems like I get less and worse sleep. Like most days I wake up, something on me hurts. Today, I don't know why, my ankles were stiff. I don't get it. And I'm not sure if it's part of getting old or maybe me and my bed just aren't a good match.
Oh, yeah, that could be. Well, maybe Brooklyn Bedding can help you out, Larson. You see, Brooklyn Bedding knows that sleep isn't one size fits all. No. Which is why they offer mattresses for every body and every sleep style. And if you're not sure what mattress is right for you, just take Brooklyn Bedding's sleep quiz and you'll find your perfect match in under 2 minutes. We just went through that process with my kid, Devin. He's been sleeping like a log on the Aurora Lux cooling mattress that we got for him. But then if he changes his mind within 120 nights, Brooklyn Bedding's comfort trial will allow him to return or swap it hassle-free.
So go to brooklynbedding.com and use promo code RAW at checkout to get 30% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. That's brooklynbedding.com and promo code RAW for 30% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know that we sent you. brooklynbedding.com, promo code RAW.
All right, man, let's go ahead and continue on with the next entry in wrestlers who will never go back to WWE. Number 8. Matt Cardona.
This isn't for lack of want on Cardona's part. He's spoken often about his desire to return to WWE.
Did you see Kevin? You saw at least the Kevin Owens clip of him.
Yeah.
God damn it, that's funny.
It was funny.
That is so funny.
His wife, Chelsea Green, works in WWE, wildly successful there.
Yes.
I found this quote from him. I just had it. There it is. This is from about 4 months ago. He had an interview with Chris Van Vliet. And apparently, like, whenever he's doing conventions, especially around Mania weekend, people are always asking, when you going back, as he puts it.
That's got to be frustrating.
I know. So he says, it's like, I don't know. I've reached out many times. I should say a few times. Every couple months when something cool happens or I have something to say, hey, look what I'm doing. There's been no offer. Everything's very nice, professional, but there's no offer. And you know what? It is what it is. I'm going to keep working my ass off. I've said this a million times. When I got released, it wasn't like, what can I do to get back to WWE? It was, what can I do to prove myself, right? And oh my God, even saying that again and again and again for 5 years, I've been saying that. I don't want to prove people wrong. I want to prove myself right and my fans right. It makes me sick to say because I feel like I've said it so many times, but it's the truth. I feel like I have. But man, like, what else do we need to do to get back there?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Look, and I will say this like firmly, and I think I speak for you on this. I'd love to see the guy back in WWE doing the stuff that he has done on the indies. Obviously, you know, King of the Death Match isn't going to work in WWE, but you can take all that personality that he has shown. If you look back at the Zack Ryder shit, he looked like he was lobotomized compared to what he became once he was released and he started doing the GCW stuff. And it was like, I mean, to a degree, it's sort of similar, I feel, but just cranked up to like 11 when Cameron Grimes used to be I want to be advertised as TNA superstar Cameron Grimes. Trevor Lee. Sorry, Trevor Lee.
Yeah. At PWG shows, he'd want to
right. Yeah. It's like Impact you're taking the piss out of, I'm WWE. I'm better than you, you know?
Yeah.
And he did that so well. And he's just so much fucking personality to that guy that you'd think that he has so much to offer, which is why you got to think if they don't see it now, I just don't think that they're going to see it at all. And that's a bummer because I'd love to see the guy back.
Yeah, I would too. You know, he's done what Cody did and what Drew McIntyre did is leave WWE, go out there and completely reinvent himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's been incredibly successful.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as far as the why, I don't know why. You know, he had quite a huge following when he was Zack Ryder. You know, imagine he comes back and they could do. There's countless stories they could do. They want to bring him back as Zack Ryder. It's like, no, that's not who I am anymore. You know, there could be some. They can have some fun with the idea of Zack Ryder versus Matt Cardona.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You know, or take what he was doing on the Indies and GCW and find a way to work that in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's so much they could do. So I'm not sure why. You know, maybe there's people within WWE have a perception of him still as Zack Ryder, despite all the work he's done since then to distance himself from that character.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it can't be. He's 40. He's still only 40 years old, which
that's like on the young side of the main event scene.
Exactly.
It's funny because I sort of joke, but that's actually true.
It is.
Like Punk is our age.
Yeah, like Seth is like the youngest of the bunch, I think.
Yeah, right. I think he's like 40, 41, something like that.
Maybe late 30s.
Maybe. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. It's hard for me to think that a guy with that much, because, you know, you look at his promos, you look at him on his podcast, and granted, I just see a lot of clips. There was one floating around, and I know you're not on the social anymore, but like there was one floating around, and I meant to send it to you, but they had Raven on as a guest.
Yeah.
And it was like in front of a live crowd. And Raven was like, he was like, hey, I thought you guys had like a third member of your show. He was like a wrestler. And like, I think, who was a smart Mark was like, yeah, is it me? He was like, no, it's not you. Used to be in the WWE, and then like, Brian Myers was like, you're talking about me. It was, I was one of the edgeheads. He was like, no. It used to be Zack Ryder. And Cardona says, what are you doing, man? It was me. And he was like, oh, really? It's the fun, and Raven is clearly trolling them.
Yeah,
but he does it in such a great way, and Cardona's so fucking funny that he's established this whole community culture around their show, their toy show.
Yeah,
and it's like, don't you want people like that? I mean, I guess maybe to a degree it's similar to why they were fine letting go of Cross. It's a guy who's got tons of charisma.
Mm-hmm.
Can do phenomenal things as a character. Maybe there's something in the wrestling aspect of things where they're like, well, it's not really what we're looking for. I don't know. I can't explain it. Or maybe Triple H just has no idea what to do with that thing that he's doing. And so he's like,
possible.
why would I bring him in just to bring him in if I don't have an idea, if I'm just sitting there staring at his picture, chewing on ice, if I just don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. I don't know. But regardless, it's a bummer because I really like Cardona. And the guy obviously does really want to come back. So, it'd be nice if he could. But I guess it just doesn't happen.
It would be nice.
All right, man. Let's move on. I feel like these top ones. And, you can talk about which one did you say, number 6?
Yeah.
As a maybe? All right. Well, this number 7. Number 7.
7.
This has got to be a hard no. And it's Deonna Purrazzo. She said this about her time in NXT under Triple H. When everybody was like, oh, Triple H is the best thing. He says, going into NXT, this was in an interview with Van Vliet. She said, and this was last year in October, but this is not the first time she mentioned how bad of a time she had in NXT when she was supposed to be a math wizard. Going into NXT and dealing with all that backstage stuff, which I never really had to deal with before, really affected me as a person and made me fall out of love with wrestling. Coming out of that, I realized that I have given so much of my life and soul to wanting to achieve being in WWE, and this is what happened when I was in WWE. That was devastating. That sounds like somebody who would be like, no, don't want any part of that. Mm-hmm. So it like there's been multiple occasions when Deonna Purrazzo has said, I was a miserable time. I hated it there. And I don't know if she's ever said I'd never fucking go back, but you can kind of read between the lines. It doesn't seem too subtle that her experience was just horrible there.
Yeah. I mean, this is I got a quote here from when she was on Busted Open talking about her time in NXT. She says, then I got there, WWE, and I was like, I don't like anything about this system. It's just not a conducive environment for me, and my dreams changed. Now I just want to go somewhere that's going to appreciate me for me and give me an opportunity to wrestle and see what happens. Mm-hmm. I think that's when she was about to be a free agent.
Yeah. That's a situation. It seems like she'd rather just not have that in her life.
Seems like it, yeah.
And she does, it's not like she necessarily exploded in AEW and Ring of Honor, but she's featured on a semi-regular basis. I don't know when the last time I saw her was, to be honest with you. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, let's move on to this number 6 here.
Yeah.
Number 6.
6.
Daniel Bryan.
So here's the caveat. Like, he'd for sure return for a Hall of Fame induction. But I think I wouldn't be shocked if, because right now it seems like his in-ring career is probably done. Probably. But it was a situation where he could wrestle 2 or 3 times a year. He would get some, he'd wrestle more for AEW, but he might want to get one final one in WWE before he's like done, retired for good. It wouldn't surprise me. But he did recently speak about the counter programming thing that WWE is doing. So I have that here. He says, I'm just curious. This the transcript's here from Wrestling Observer. This is an interview on I don't even know how to say this. He's in Australia doing some promotion for AEW's next show there. He says, I'm just curious.
The Kairos Bros?
Is that what it is? Okay.
I think.
He says, I'm just curious what the people who are making these decisions, what they're thinking, in the sense of, like, oh, okay, this AEW thing, it's a real danger to our billion-dollar business. That can't be it. I could hear him say that kind of snidely, too. Yeah. And he says, AEW existing and being this challenger brand and being as successful as we've been has changed the landscape for wrestling for the wrestlers themselves. Wrestlers are being paid more now than ever from a sports rights perspective. For example, most major sports in the United States, players get anywhere between 40 to 50% of the revenue, and WWE was paying their wrestlers nowhere close to that. Now, keep in mind, they're still not paying anywhere close to that, but they do have to pay more because if they don't, the talent's going to leave to go to AEW. He says this, AEW does pay that 40 to 50% of the revenues to their wrestlers, and despite making much less money. I mean, our TV rights deal was incredible, but we're still the challenger brand catching up on however many years WWE's had. We're not at the point of being a threat. It's just weird. This is one of the things that people who really crave power and a lot of money play these weird games that I don't understand. He concludes here, it's good for the wrestlers, both in AEW and WWE. It's been good for them. If AEW wouldn't have started, would Cody Rhodes be where he is now? No. They have a megastar because AEW exists, right? Would CM Punk have ever come back? Probably not.
Yeah, dude, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't even think he'd be back for a Hall of Fame thing. You know why? This is why. When he talks about WrestleMania 30 and how it didn't really mean shit to him.
Yeah.
When he talks about, and he did say that he loves to lie, but I don't know. I feel like some of what he says can be taken at face value because why not?
Yeah.
I feel like more so even maybe than Moxley, TKO has taken WWE far away from what Bryan Danielson appreciates. He just comes off like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
If there was something, I'll put it this way, to your point of like, hey, if he got what he wanted out of his schedule and there was interesting stuff for him to do, if that interesting stuff, for example, if there was the opportunity to wrestle somebody from AAA that he just saw and was like, oh God, I have to. If there was that opportunity, I could see him, figuring that out. Mm-hmm. Because he really wanted to wrestle that person. He seems to be a guy who really, wants to. He's got that bucket list of people he wants to wrestle.
At this point in his career, he's doing it for the art. Yeah,
for the art, exactly right.
Yeah,
and so if that existed in WWE, I think he would. But for any other reason, and the Hall of Fame thing is such a sentimental thing that I feel like he doesn't give two shits about.
It's entirely possible. Entirely possible.
And so I think it'd be more along the lines of, for the art of it, if there was somebody there so special, if like Nathan Frazier was reinventing fucking wrestling 5 years from now.
Yeah, or Axiom.
Axiom.
He's got the math genius.
Now he's got the math genius shit. Yeah. I like that you chuckled when I said that. Because like it was like music and math? Like what?
I know, it didn't make a whole lot of sense.
And then they gave it to Axiom. So, I feel like if there was that, but I don't think that's going to exist in WWE by the time he's completely done.
It doesn't seem like they're heading that direction, no.
No, not really.
It seems like we're getting to the point where all the wrestlers are going to have ads on their gear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And given how, dude, he's going to do full-time commentary. That tells me he loves being at AEW.
Well, another thing is that he's, I think, still to a degree involved in a consulting role creatively.
I think he is.
While at this current point he can't wrestle, he still gets to scratch that itch from a creative standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So even though he's someone who was in WWE for a long time, he seems to have bought into what AEW is doing for the reasons he said, because it's good for the wrestlers.
Yeah.
And he sees kind of the revolting business tactics that WWE have been using far more of late, and saying how is this going to benefit you?
And again, you got to think that that's going to put certain people off from going back there.
Absolutely.
You would think, just it stands to reason.
Yep. Especially someone like him or Mox, who financially are likely set for life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Money is probably not going to be a concern for them.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about number 5.
How
you doing? Hey, what we got here? Capahaters? Enzo Amore. Real one. Enzo.
Yeah, especially after he pulled that shit at SummerSlam a few years back.
Oh, yeah.
Where he was in the crowd. Made a scene.
Weird. Yeah, the funny thing about Enzo is like as like a talent being utilized on camera, he really seemed to be a pretty decent asset for the company. Like, ratings would go up when they'd give him the microphone. The crowd loved him. Mm-hmm. It's just seemingly he'd create too many headaches backstage. And, that's going to... And when you watch all of his shoot interviews and you listen, of course, to Simon Gotch-Berry's Enzo Amore, it kind of seems like, maybe if things had lined up like Because he got released in like what 16, 17 or 18? I think it was
That sounds
17.
right. Before he moved to the office, I believe.
I think it was 2017. Yeah, because we were doing like the back and forth news shows, which we love so much. If it was like maybe 3 years after that and he had completely reinvented himself, or not reinvented himself, but maybe shown people backstage that, hey, I've grown, I want to make amends. But like no interview that he ever did that in, would indicate that was ever the case. Mm-hmm. He wants to do things his way. So although I would love to see an Enzo Amore Big Bill reunion, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. And I don't think we're ever going to see Enzo back in the WWE.
No, I don't think so either.
He did get jacked, though.
Yeah, he did.
So there's that. And then on top of that, remember that time he concussed himself on the ropes? Boy,
yeah.
That was scary.
Yeah, as good as he was on the mic, he wasn't that good of an in-ring worker.
Mm-hmm, yeah. No, it really wasn't.
No. Remember he was Cruiserweight champion?
What's that?
Remember he was Cruiserweight champion? Would he have all these exceptional
that
wrestlers?
was one of the crazy things where it was like, you got Neville, you got Pac on your roster, you got all these amazing luchadors.
Buddy Matthews.
And
Buddy
then
Murphy then.
You give it to, Buddy Murphy then, Buddy Matthews now.
Mustafa Ali. Like he had
Cedric.
So many world-class, Cedric Alexander, world-class wrestlers. Some of the best in the world. But
here's the thing. None of them fucking drew any ratings. And this guy, people would tune in to see him.
Yeah, it was weird.
How you doing?
Remember when Neville Pac came out all sad?
Yeah, it was great.
After he lost the belt. That was great.
It was awesome.
That was some good TV.
All right, man. I'm getting kind of hungry, Larson. Maybe you need to feed me more entries. So let's go to number 4. Ryback!
So he
what's the first fast food that comes to mind when you think of Ryback?
That'd be El Pollo Loco.
You got that right. Isn't that weird? Like the first thing he did was like, I'm going to El Pollo Loco.
Yeah, he did like some videos from the drive-thru at El Pollo Loco, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said before that the only way he would consider going back to WWE as if there was an open invitation was if Vince was gone, and I guess the idea would be Triple H was running the show. Well, we're in that scenario now. As far as I'm aware, there has been no invitation extended to Ryback to come back.
Yeah. So he did actually, like, pretty recently in response to the Kevin Owens episode of What Do You Want to Talk About?
Yeah.
Because they bleep his name out, and they were talking about wrestlers who are gone from WWE and then start charging exorbitant prices for, their services, and they bleeped it out, but it was kind of obvious that he had said Ryback.
Talking about Ryback, yeah.
Right. And so he actually said some stuff that I'm like, man, if you had said this in the first place, maybe I'd feel a little bit of sympathy for you. But he said, I was made aware and saw the clip of Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, 2 guys I always liked and got along with. It's clear they were referencing me, even with the name censored. For context, I was booked solid for 3 years straight after WWE. My rate was set by my then manager, Pat Buck, and every promoter I worked with made money and got my full effort. Meet and greets, matches, fan time, all of it. What's often left out, I walked away from a multi-million-dollar WWE contract. I wasn't fired. I needed a 5-disc fusion and full right shoulder replacement at 34. I was told not to wrestle again. I had nerve damage that risked paralysis if I continued. I had to stop taking bookings entirely. Why? Because my doctors told me for the stem cells to work properly, I needed to stop wrestling. I also made the choice to stay home and care for my dog, Sophie, who developed severe disc disease, had multiple ruptures and surgeries, and was paralyzed twice. I refused to put her down just to keep traveling and making more money. I already had what I needed. Sophie turns 10 this November, and every second with her was worth it. I poured everything into rebuilding my health and my brand with Feed Me More Nutrition. I've had 20 stem cell procedures and was blessed to regrow all 5 discs in my back. I'm now finally close to being able to return. So yes, I do feel the comment was a low blow, especially coming from 2 guys I respected and spoke well of, but I'm not bitter. I've made peace with WWE and let go of the path. This isn't a storyline, it's real life survival growth perspective. And then he says, I wish Kevin a strong recovery, and I send both him and Cody nothing but love. I feel like if he had taken that sort of tact from the outset, I don't know, maybe things could have been different. And I'm taking him at his word that all this stuff is true, of course, you know. But it does sort of shed a bit of a different light on Ryback, you know. I don't know. I read that and I was like, oh, man, he's got the dog.
Yeah.
Gave it up for his dog, Sophie, and now she's 10. So
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all thought we were going to talk shit about Ryback.
Wasn't there a spell he was eating Doritos on his live streams?
You know what the weirdest thing is? That guy'd be on Twitch all the time, and he'd have like one viewer.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to see Ryback eating Doritos?
Maybe everybody's expecting him eating some El Pollo Loco. We're disappointed it was just Doritos.
El Pollo Loco is crazy because half the time it's shit, and half the time it's amazing. Like sometimes I'd get like this. It's like fucking homemade tasting rice, and then sometimes
you gotta get the chicken right off the grill. If it's not right off the grill, it's just sitting there.
Yeah, I've not probably had a Pollo Loco since like Ryback was released. I have not had it
longer than that for me.
Such a long time. Yeah, I went through a spell where I'd get it a bunch.
Yeah,
but then I had like 2 in a row where I was like, "The fuck is happening right now?"
You got the old chicken that had been taken off the grill too long ago, dried out.
Yeah.
So I used to live pretty close to one. So when in doubt, all right, I'll walk to El Pollo Loco.
Yeah, because you don't. Here's the thing about Pollo Loco: you don't feel like shit after eating it.
Mm-mm.
Now it's like whatever fast food I eat, but I feel like Pollo Loco because it's like, you know, grilled chicken or whatever they do with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's like, oh man, I don't feel like terrible afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's got that going for it.
It does.
That's why Ryback liked it, I guess. Anyways, let's move on now to number 3.
3.
Matt Riddle. The thing that I like about Matt Riddle here is that he makes it really easy for the thumbnail because it's just going to be one shot of that one video he did not long ago where he was like, everybody's a moron. And because like apparently he was supposed to do some charity show, got the deposit, didn't go.
Didn't like the travel arrangements.
Kept the deposit for a spell, and then ended up apparently giving it back and doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, he just started like burning it all down, more so than he had in the past. You know, had some disparaging comments about AJ Lee as recently as like last week. Yeah, this guy is never coming back.
No. He also talked a bunch of shit about CM Punk.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Recently.
He seems obsessed with CM Punk. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not coming back. No.
Yeah.
He seemed like he was afforded several opportunities to stay with the company, and then was that airport incident. Mm-hmm. It wasn't long after that they released him. And he's not coming back.
Yeah. No. Yeah, honestly, like less said about this, the better. What's wild though, and this can be said about this one and the next one, about Matt Riddle and the next one. The fumble of just untold millions of dollars that they could have made, because Matt Riddle had everything. A terrific wrestler, connection with the crowd, his run with Randy Orton. Whatever reason, just couldn't keep it together. But like when you think of, I mean, you remember how Dave Meltzer used to talk about this guy when he was doing PWG?
Yeah.
Like he'd be the next fucking John Cena.
Yeah.
And if he could hold it together backstage, I mean, the idea of him and Lesnar or him and Goldberg, if those situations were approached appropriately and properly, man,
huge
millions.
Money. Yeah.
Millions.
Huge money. Yep.
He could have been huge.
Yeah. Even without those two feuds, if Randy hadn't hurt his back and that story had played out, that could have been huge for him too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Massive fumble. Just ungodly fumble.
Oh, yeah.
Let's move on now to number 2. Velveteen Dream.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
This might be maybe a bigger fumble because he never even made it to main roster. But my goodness gracious, the talent that this guy had, the creativity that Patrick Clark possessed, the ability to generate controversy on screen in a way that really advances stories and stuff. Like, who could forget when he'd come out with the tights that would be trolling Hulk Hogan or like, hey, Vince, call me. You know, he'd always have some new reference that was like, oh, shit. And that level of like edginess was like in that perfect sweet spot where it'd always get people talking about him. And then you watch the match, it was like, oh my God, this guy is athletically so gifted. He could put on really phenomenal matches. He had the mystique, and yet he had the crowd connection. He had everything. Couldn't keep it together.
No. Was arrested a couple times.
Yeah. There was some weird shit too that like it's difficult to sort of dive into without understanding like what the hell is even going on here.
Yeah, he was released in 2021. You know, I think he tried to make some amends to try to get himself back in with the company. And even as recently as, what is this, May? No, wait. Yes, May of this year, I believe. He posted this thing on Instagram, like demanding an apology from WWE.
Oh, wow.
And trying to get people to spam Triple H and WWE with a hashtag.
Yeah.
We want the dream, to try to get his job back.
Oh, gosh darn. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I personally don't see it ever happening. I don't know. Is he even 30 yet? How old is this guy?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I know he was young back then. And I don't know what kind of...
30 years old.
Oh, he is. He's only 30 right now. I don't know what it would take or what honest, sincere attempt at reconciliation would look like for him. But like trying to get people to spam Triple H, that's not going to be the thing.
Nuh-uh.
You got to show somehow, some way that, hey, you've made some pretty big changes in your life, you know, different from what you were then or what they perceived you to be then. Yeah, I don't know the guy. But in any event, my goodness, this guy had main roster main eventer written all over him. He had future of the company written all over him. And yeah, just a series of, you know, whatever happened, you know, led him to be on the outside of the company. And now, you know, telling people to go spam hashtags. Probably not the way to go.
It's not the way to go about doing it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He did wrestle some on the Independents in 2024.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about this number one. Number one. Alberto Del Rio. Wow.
So if there was any chance that he was going to make a return to WWE, it would have happened when WWE bought AAA.
Yeah.
And one of the first things they did was get that mega championship off him. And has he even showed up in AAA since then?
Yeah, so he was at the Alianzas.
Gotcha.
It's Spanish for alliances show, which I think went down 2 weeks ago.
Gotcha.
And I think that's when they did like the loser leaves town thing, but like, I don't know. It kind of felt, I mean, it was an angle because like that's what the match is, but like they did a thing afterwards where they all beat him up. And I'm like, maybe he'll come back. I mean, Rey Mysterio, in response to the crowd chanting his name, he said he'll be back. I don't know if Rey Mysterio knows something we don't, but I don't think for a second he's ever going to be back on main roster.
No.
But if they do a thing where he still performs for AAA, but doesn't land on any of the WWE AAA type shows, like, I don't know how you do that with Triple Mania. Like, how would he not be there? Because that's going to be a show that WWE gives a big spotlight to.
Yeah.
But the one they ran 2 weeks ago, it's available on the YouTube channel right now. Alianzas? I think that's what it is.
All right.
Dom was on it. Mm-hmm. Natty was on it.
Ludwig Kaiser was as Americano, right?
Yeah, Americano was on it.
Yeah.
So, and Del Rio was on it. So, you know, I don't there's no way he's going to end up on main roster.
No.
But they might keep him around AAA to keep the fans happy.
That could be.
But like in terms of being on main, it would dude, this would be a different tune if WWE had just kept that mega title on him, had him on Worlds Collide, in which case, yeah, dude, of course you'd probably put him on main roster for at least some promotion.
Yeah, some crossover stuff, yeah.
But seemingly they're like, no, that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to figure that I don't think main roster is going to work out for him.
No.
But seeing him back in AAA, I don't think is out of the realm of possibility.
I don't know, man.
I don't know how you toe that line, though. If you don't want him associated with WWE, but you want to keep him in AAA, how do you keep him around, but then not on your big WWE?
Yeah, I know.
Branded,
I know
shows.
it's the the kind of the elephant in the room then.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Especially if he manages to maintain his popularity that he's, accrued in AAA.
Yeah.
If he's by AAA, not in the WWE promoted shows, pushed as one of their top stars, but then isn't on their WrestleMania. Yeah, it seems weird.
Yeah. So the last thing he did, he had a match just 2 weeks ago. So on the 9th of August, I'm trying to see where the Alianza show was. When was that? Oh, here we go. July 25th. Oh, that was a while ago.
That was before Triple Mania.
Yeah, that was before Triple Mania. But then he did a AAA show about a month. When was Triple Mania?
It was middle of August.
He did a show August 9th where he teamed with New Generation Dynamite. The New Dynamite generation. They lost to Psycho Clown, Nino Amburguesa, and La Parca.
Is that his last show for AAA?
Maybe. Because, the July 25th one, if El Patron loses, he has to leave AAA. But the way they did the angle afterwards, then he was in it a day later. A day later, he had a match, and then a couple weeks later, he had a match. So maybe there's an asterisk there. I don't know.
Maybe the televised shows are canon, or the other ones just like live events.
Maybe that could be. Yeah, that could be because this was this looked like it was just a live event. And then he went down to Puerto Rico. He did a Puerto Rico show on August 30th. That's the last we've heard of him. So, yeah, I don't, I'd be kind of surprised if he came back. But you never know. If the crowd keeps on demanding, he might be the next CM. He might be the AAA version of CM Punk. He might be getting Alberto a chance for 10 years.
Maybe.
Could be. Yeah. Probably not, though. He talked a lot of shit about Triple H, and then he had all sorts of weird shit going on, too. You guys can Google that stuff. Anyways, what are you looking at over there?
I was reading if I could find any information about if he or there been any reports about his future in AAA.
Anything?
No, not really.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go then. Watch. 5 years from now, we'll look back on this list.
Yep.
I want to see if, hold on a second. Give me 1 second. I want to see one thing here. Because this was one of our most viewed episodes videos we've ever done.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Videos. I want to views. Most views. Here we go. Okay, so we did 5 wrestlers who shouldn't.
Oh, not won't, but shouldn't.
Who shouldn't come back.
Should not.
And then we did one should, but let me go ahead and see what this was here. I miss these days when we get 400,000 views for a video.
Oh, that was great.
Okay, Goldberg. And this was we did this list in 2016.
Okay.
So before Goldberg came back. So Goldberg was on the list. MVP was on the list. He came back. Hardy Boys were on the list.
They came back.
Here's one we got right. Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah, he never went back.
Yeah. We have some honorable mentions included there. Stevie Richards for some reason. Tyrus. Christy Hemme. And then, number 1, Scott Steiner.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, he wrestled a little bit back in 2016.
Yeah.
He did some stuff for Impact after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then he never came back. Like, he came back as Braun Breaker's uncle.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's going to do it for this edition of Count Out. Who else will never come back to WWE? Or at least probably not come back. That's what his title is. 10 wrestlers probably won't come back to WWE.
Well, never, probably not.
Yeah, never, probably not. Who knows? Maybe.
Could. Highly unlikely.
Till next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.